Okay, so I'm going to make up some tri-tip marinade. I've got a big bag of untrimmed tri-tip that I picked up on sale. So I mix up the marinade, and I get the tri-tips separated and into vacuum seal bags and freeze them already marinated. They come out ready to go on the grill or in the smoker, however you like to cook them. So I use soy sauce, Worcestershire sauce, rosemary, onion powder, and garlic powder. And I just whisk this all together. So now this is ready to put the tri-tips in the vacuum seal bags, and then we'll add the marinade. Okay, so I buy my tri-tip untrimmed because it's much cheaper and it's actually on sale more often. And I am by no means a butcher, and it might not look as pretty as what I would pick up, from the meat department, but it saves a lot of money, and I think it tastes just as good. So what you want to do is especially get off this tough layer, what they call like silver skin. That has to come off, but I go ahead and trim a little bit of the fat off too. But you want to leave some of the fat because that is what soaks down into the meat and gives it a lot of the flavor, especially if you cook this in the smoker or in the oven at a low temperature. You want to put the fat side up and let the fat just kind of dissolve down into the meat. It'll add moisture and flavor and tenderness to your meat. Oops, see, there I go. I sometimes get a little too carried away with the knife. You just want to be careful not to take, you don't want it to be down to the meat like I did right here. You just want to take the very top layer off. So like I said, I got a whole bag of these on sale at Food Max, and now just a little extra processing, and I'll put them in the freezer and they'll be ready for us anytime we want to have them. So I go ahead and use my meat tenderizer to poke some holes. It does have a little bit of struggle getting through the fat, but I like to do this so that I'm sure the marinade gets all the way down inside in the middle of the meat. You could do this also with like a large meat fork, or like stab it with a knife. But I cook this in the smoker, and I cook it for like 8 or 10 hours, so it doesn't really need to be tenderized, but I do it for the purpose of getting the marinade down inside. Alright, so now this is ready to put in the vacuum seal bag and add the marinade. Okay, so I got my tri-tip all trimmed how I like it. I like a little more fat on mine because it keeps the moisture in the meat and adds a nice flavor. So now I got all my vacuum seal bags ready, and I'll put the tri-tips in. And I'll get my marinade here. So I've got about 4 cups of marinade. I'll add about 1 cup to each of them, and it won't take much because the vacuum sealing pulls the marinade in against the meat, so it doesn't take as much marinade. So there we go. Get the bags over here. Okay, so the meat's in here, the marinade's in here. Now we'll vacuum seal it. Like to kind of help squeeze the air up. There we go, it's going to seal. Always double check the seals because the littlest little leak and the vacuum won't hold and your meat will get freezer burned. But I put it in the freezer just like this. It's already marinated, and I poked the holes so the marinade gets down inside, and it's basically ready to take out of the freezer, defrost, and put on the barbecue or in the smoker. Okay, so here we've got our tri-tip. I took it out of the freezer last night, and it has defrosted. I just cut it open. I drain the marinade out. I don't save it for anything. It's garbage now. So yep, there it is. All you can see where I poked my holes. The marinade hopefully has soaked all the way down and through. And we will put this in the smoker now for 3 or 4 hours. Okay, so after I drain the marinade, sometimes we like to put, and it was completely by accident that I came up with this, but this is my regular like taco meat seasoning. But one time I accidentally grabbed this, and I make all my spice mixtures, most of them, from scratch, and so I grabbed my taco seasoning one instead of my tri-tip seasoning one, and it turned out really good. So now this is what we use every time. But this is after I drained the marinade off. I just put a nice thick coat of this on, and it sticks very nicely to the wet surface from the marinade. Okay, so now I'll put this in the smoker.